Oh, these graphics are so good. It looks so real. I can't tell if it's a game or a real picture. Oh, I don't like pixel art graphics. Whoa, 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 whoa. Back it up. Today, we have to talk about the greatest misconception when it comes to video games. Graphics versus art. You see, in the normal world, graphics and art are basically the same thing. Art is a term typically used for fine arts, things like painting, illustrations, sculptures. You get the idea. While graphics is typically used for the more commercial side of arts. Think broadcast graphics or billboards. But when it comes to video games, these terms are not interchangeable. Let's go on and get the terminology out of the way first. Graphics is really more the fidelity of the image that's on the screen, where art is the styling in which the graphics are using. Why is this such an important distinction to make? Well, for one, per the last episode, games are art, and because of that, we can't say anyone is right or wrong for what it is they like. That's not what this is about. It's about recognizing what we like and why the art style is always more important than the graphics. Let's look at some examples. Elden Ring. The graphics are amazing. I mean, look at this game. The game we love to hate, Call of Duty. Despite how you might feel about the game, they've always looked amazing. On a technical stance, both of these games are HD. But do you know what else is HD? Stardew Valley. Yeah, Stardew Valley is HD. So is Octopath Traveler and Hades. There are so many other games that are HD but don't look HD. These games leaned more into the artistic side instead of the hyper-realistic side. Now, that doesn't mean hyper-realism isn't an art style. It most definitely is. But it's more graphically impressive than it is artistically relevant. You know, there's not a lot of water where I live, depending on where you are, but this is one of my favorite spots. I really like just sitting here and listening. So getting back on topic, graphics will run thin. After a generation or two, we can see a clear progression in graphics. Things are sharper, but the art style doesn't dip away. Let's look at a really old game, Yoshi's Island on the SNES. The art style has always been endearing. Never mind Baby Mario is kind of nightmare fuel, but the art style has stood the test of time. So much so that the style has been copied even in the HD era. Think of Child of Light. The styling has a clear inspiration in some way to Yoshi's Island. In cases like this, the art is independent from the graphics, even somewhat independent from modern tech. Not entirely, but somewhat. But then you have games where the art is almost entirely dependent on the tech. Look people, we aren't getting off of this Clair Obscur Expedition 33 bus for a while. The game's graphics are absolutely stunning, and they mix in a very interesting art style. But that art style, for them to achieve that particular style, is dependent on the tech. They've said so themselves. So we can break this down even further into two more categories. Art reliant on the tech, and art independent from the tech. Mind you, this doesn't account for game mechanics and design. That is fully reliant on the tech being used. But when do graphics become art? Well, that is an interesting question. When do they? At that point, nostalgia becomes a huge player in the art form. Recently, we've seen a revival of games that look like they're coming from the 5th generation. that would be the days of the PlayStation, the N64, and the Sega Saturn. We've even seen a revival of 6th gen graphic art styles. In this case, graphics have become an art form. Back when those consoles were around, they looked that way for two reasons. One, they were pushing the technology. And two, to make something realistic looking, they didn't have a choice. What you see is what the system could do. There were variations on these styles, but largely, they were the same. Let's look at two more games from the PlayStation 1, Parasite Eve and Resident Evil 2. The art styles differ slightly, but largely, they kinda look the same. This is only the end game, not the FMVs. Those were completely different. So it actually started raining here. When I got to the spot, it was like 92 degrees. It was a fairly hot day. And then out of nowhere, clouds started rolling in and it just kind of dumped on me. So I didn't have much of a choice but to start heading downhill. Now, in the modern era, we have games like ULTRAKILL and Signalis that lean very hard on the 5th gen aesthetic. Is the tech there to make something that looks better? Yeah, it's there. But the art style was geared towards those older graphics. We still have games that are using the artistic styling of Jet Set Radio that came out on the Dreamcast. Art and graphics, when it comes to video games, are not the same thing. They aren't mutually exclusive, but they are two distinctive choices that a developer has to make. When we say graphics, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, most of us refer to how realistic something looks. When realism is the art style, it is fully reliant on the tech. We don't think about the resolution or the other effects graphics play. As I mentioned, Stardew Valley is an HD game. The graphics are HD, but the art style is more 16-bit. So when we say, I don't like the graphics, we should take a step back, consider what we actually don't like. I mean, if the graphics are low and they hurt your eyes, I completely understand. But are we talking about the visual fidelity or the art style? Like I said before, games are art. The visuals are only a small part of that art. There's also the music, the writing, hell, even the problem solving it takes to create a game is an art form. Maybe the visuals aren't for you, and that's fine, but consider the entire piece. I'm not going to sit here and preach and then not follow my own words. There's this game that, honestly, I wasn't a big fan of the art style. It's called Afterimage. It looked just like another anime style game, but I took a chance on it, and it's become my favorite Metroidvania game. Contrast it with another game, Hollow Knight. The visuals are pretty. I love the way that game looks, but I just didn't like the game. It didn't interest me. It's not a bad game. It just wasn't my cup of tea. So when you see something and the graphics don't look that good, maybe give it a shot. The rest of the art piece might surprise you. So it stopped raining by this point, but by the time I got to the bottom of the hill, a flash flood warning came in, and it's always raining in the Hamas, and I wasn't about to get caught in that. So we decided to keep going. Anyway, if you like these little weekly discussions about gaming culture, the industry, and everything else gaming, please like, subscribe, and share. You can also follow me on Instagram. We'll be doing these every week. Oh, the Kickstarter also launched today, so be sure to head over there and support me if you enjoy what I'm doing here. It'll help a lot with the development of Vita, the Ember Oracle. Speaking of that, Vita, Rift of a Nation, is available on Steam. So maybe go pick that one up. Anyway, until next time, keep playing and keep active. Bye for now.